We entered a chamber that was hewn from the living rock. As we moved east, we came to another tunnel. A portion of it had collapsed, and murky knee-high water filled the chamber. As we neared the point of the collapse, we heard voices coming from the other side of the wall. They sounded otherworldly, almost ethereal, and they said, "Turn left." The construction of this room was inferior to the dazzling cyclopean forms we saw earlier. This was clearly made in modernity. There must be other entrances into this site. Then, as the light of Martin's lantern touched the far end of the room, we saw a mass of demonic-looking creatures, both large and small, feeding on the entrails of an unknown creature. We quickly defeated the beasts, but I was wounded, both physically and psychologically, in the effort. The knee-high water slowed our movement to a crawl. As we moved to the northeast, both of us made hideous discoveries along the chamber walls that were too horrible to discuss. The tunnel eventually led into another passage. Someone had laid a minecart track that led to the north and the east. Strange shadows filled the opposite end of the passage. They seemed to shift and churn like a cauldron. As we made our way north, we discovered a campsite. A small fire burned in the center of the room and bedrolls encircled the fire pit. As I entered the chamber, I spotted a pressure plate on the floor. It was a booby trap, and I quickly disabled it. A doorway in the northeast corner of the room led to the east. Then, I saw it, a large two-headed creature covered in shaggy black fur. It had pointed spikes running down the length of its spine, and it sported a bulbous-like structure at the end of its tail. This thing hissed and swiftly moved behind me and attacked. At the same moment, the chamber was filled with the sound of a blood-curdling shriek that erupted from somewhere deep in the mine. The creature was both swift and powerful. After sustaining multiple rounds from Martin's shotgun and my hunting rifle, the creature let out an infernal death scream and collapsed to the floor. The encounter had taken a toll on Martin's mind, and I feared for his sanity. Following the fight, Martin uncovered some shards of Darkstone, and I found an old journal amongst one of the bandits' bedrolls. Later, I discovered it was the journal of someone from the famous Battle of the Alamo. We knew we were on the right track, and the Darkstone chamber must be nearby.
Good evening, and welcome back to the channel. We'll be continuing on with our playthrough of Shadows of Brimstone in the adventures of Lanny and Martin. This is episode 3 of season 3, and it's entitled Terror at Mount La Terra, part 2. And we're ready to begin with a new turn. I'm going to play the effects of a card that Lanny just received recently called the Journal from the Alamo. And it says, once per adventure, all heroes may recover 1 grit. So we're going to do that, and that'll give a grit to each of the heroes. They'll each have 1 now. And we're ready to start our turn. We'll roll to hold back the darkness. Okay, we rolled an 8, so we're still good. We're in the 7s range. And now we'll activate in order. We'll start with Martin. Martin will roll for movement. And he rolled a 2. Okay, I'm going to have him move into the doorway, and then he's going to take a look and see what he sees down the path. And Martin sees a switch curve, and it has an advanced encounter called Rail Switch. Okay, we'll set that up. All right, we'll place our exploration token in there, and that will complete Martin's turn. We'll move on with Lanny. Okay, Lanny's going to roll for movement. She rolled a 6. Okay. Well, we're going to have her move ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll put her right down in the middle. Okay, that'll advance us down in the depth track here to 12. And now we're going to find out what we've got in that chamber. The exploration token is an ambush attack. There's 2 doors. Okay, so both of these are going to be doorways. We know that for a fact, but there will be an ambush attack. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to use our interrogate prisoner ability that we were able to get when Martin was in town. He interrogated a prisoner at the sheriff's office, and that will allow us 2 times to redraw either a token or an encounter card. So we're going to use that to draw another exploration token. And that one now that's the clue token we're looking for. It's a gate, but in this scenario, that's going to be just a door. So we have 1 regular door, and actually, this is the objective room. That's our second clue token. So we've got a slightly different procedure for that objective room. Yeah, it says here that since this is an introductory mission, it says here, objective room, when the second clue icon is revealed, ignore any encounter or attack on the token, as well as any door icons. The objective room has no exits. Instead, the heroes will draw a high threat card to fight as a group of creatures has been attracted by the Darkstone. All right, we've got our high threat deck out, and we're going to give that a cut and find out what our heroes are going to be battling. Okay, and that is revealed to be 3 hell vermin. Okay, we'll lay those out. All right, although the mission rules stated that we're supposed to ignore encounter or attacks on the token, as well as any door icons, this room did have an advanced encounter called Rail Switch. So we'll just read through that real quick. It says the rail tracks set into the dusty floor here split off into 2 directions, and there is a switch box to change their path. Choose. Pull the switch, which is a Strength 4 Plus test. If successful, gain 25 XP and roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, the ceiling collapses under the pressure of the force used to pull the switch. Each hero takes d6 hits. 3, 4, 5, or 6, you can hear the rails ahead creak and groan. Something has changed. Next time you reveal an exploration token, you may discard it and draw a new one. Or we can ignore it and move on. Nothing happens as you pass it by. Well, we're going to ignore it since this is the objective room. We have really nothing to gain from that card. What we do have to do next is to reveal our growing dread cards that were collected during the mission. The first one says, "It's too late. Surrounded by evil, you begin to fear that your time is run out. Until the end of the adventure, all enemy hits and horror hits do +1 damage, or +2 damage if the hero posse marker is below the darkness marker on the depth track." Okay, that's not good for us. Next one is Shadows Out of Time. You feel surrounded by the thick black shadows closing in. Even the lantern begins to hiss and creak as the darkness tests its boundaries. Immediately draw and play D3 darkness cards. If at a mission objective, any enemies generated by these cards are simply added to the final fight. Okay, well, we're going to have to roll a D3 then and find out how many darkness cards we have to draw. Okay, here's the D3 roll. And we rolled a 2, so we'll be pulling 2 darkness cards. All right, and the first card is Full Moon. All beast enemies are now +2 combat and +2 health remains in play. All right, now let's see if the hell vermin, they are a beast. Oh, that is absolutely terrible for us. That's about one of the worst ones we could get. All right. And then the other one is Power of the Void. All void enemies are +1 combat, remains in play. All right, well, they are not void, at least. They're mutant and beast are their characteristics. But this Full Moon card is not a good one. Okay, so those cards are going to raise the Hell Vermin's combat from 3 to 5, and their health will go from 13 to 15. Not good. And we'll start the round with a Hold Back the Darkness roll. We rolled a 3, so we failed that, and that'll move us up from 2 to 3 on the darkness track. Okay, no card is drawn at least. And now the models will activate in order. And we'll begin with the Hell Vermin. We'll have to decide on their targets. Now the closest model will move first, and it'll either be odd or even to determine where his target is. It's even, so he's going to be targeting Martin. So they have a movement of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, the next one will target the untargeted model. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll find out who he's going to target, odd or even. He'll target Martin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And we'll have this first model attack Martin. Now their combat is 5. Okay, here's the roll. They're going to hit on a 4 or greater. Whoa. All right, we've got 4 6s. Okay, each of those is going to do a corruption hit as well, in addition to the normal hit that they make. So we're going to put those there, and then Martin's going to be able to try to defend against those. We'll start out with his corruption defense, his willpower, to see if he can defend against those corruption hits. So he'll be rolling 4 dice, and on a 4 or greater, he'll defend against them. And he only rolled 1, so he's going to be taking 3 corruption hits. He already has 2 corruption. That would give him a total of 5, and he is going to mutate if that's the case. Oh, I'm going to have to think about that. Well, I don't want to waste my grit token on this. My mission is to try to kill these things, so I'm going to need that probably for a 2-hit reroll, so we're just going to accept it. He has 5 corruption, so those 5 corruption will be spent. Then he's going to have to roll a D36 on the mutation chart. I almost forgot, Martin has a bear claw, which allows him to, once per turn, re-roll a single willpower roll. So this was the roll that we had. I'm going to keep that success, and then we're going to re-roll those 3 and see if we can maybe forestall this mutation. All right, so I have 1 more that I was able to stop, but 2 are going to get through. So my corruption level now is 4. I don't take the mutation, at least, not at this point. Okay, now he's going to have to defend against 4 hits. His defense is a pretty good one. It's a 3, so we'll see what happens with this. Okay, here's the roll. And he was only able to defend against 1, so he is going to take a total of 4 damage for each of those. That would be 12. That would KO him. I have no revive token. I have no alternative but to spend a grit token. So we'll spend a grit and re-roll these 3. This isn't looking good. And I was able to stop 1 more, so 2 are going to get through. He's going to take a total of 8 damage. So he's 8 of 10 already. 8 damage out of a possible 10 health. And that was only the first of 2 Hell Vermin. He's going to have to undergo 1 more now. All right, so the Hell Vermin, the other one now is going to attack. And that's going to roll 5 dice. Hits on a 4 or greater. And that time he has 2 hits against him. So he'll be able to defend that. No corruption damage. And he'll roll 2 for defense. He needs 3s or greater. He was able to defend 1, but the other one He could not defend. That will give him 4 more wounds, and that's going to KO him, unfortunately. All right, so Martin is KO'd. So we're going to remove Martin's model, and we'll give him a KO'd hero token there. And now the other Hell Vermin will attack Lanny this time, and that'll be with a total of 5 dice. Whoa. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's a total of 4 hits, of which 1 is a corruption hit. Okay, we'll test for the corruption. First of all, she has a willpower of 4. And she was able to stop that at least, but now she's going to have to undergo 4 hits against her. So she has a defense of 4+. I don't even know if we're going to be able to get a shot off with these things. Okay, here's the roll. She was able to defend 1. I have no alternative but to spend her grit and try to re-roll those other 3 here, and hopefully we can somehow stop it. Okay, here is the roll. Well, we were able to stop 3 of the 4. One's going to get through for 4 damage. That'll boost her damage up to 5 wounds out of a possible 11 health. And this is not good. Okay, Martin would normally be next in the order, but he's KO'd. So now it's Lanny is up. She's going to roll for movement. And she rolled a 5, so she's got 5 movement points. And I'll see if she can escape from the clutches of the creature. The creature's escape is a 4+. Now she has a special ability called Evasion that allows her to roll 2 dice and select the highest. Okay, so she got a 4 and a 6, so she's able to escape. That'll allow her to move at least. I don't think it's going to help much. All the creatures are going to target her anyway, and I can't move far enough away to not have that 8 movement points reach me. So I guess we'll just move just 1 away here. It'll leave her ability to shoot in multiple directions. This isn't good. All right, she's going to fire her hunting rifle. Has a range of 12, 1 shot, but it does do +1 damage if she can hit. Okay, here's the roll. She's going to hit on a 4 or greater. And she missed. I have no grit token to re-roll, so it's just a plain old miss. And then we're going to start a new round. All right, this is the start of a new round, and I just don't see any way that Lanny is going to be able to take out 3 Hell Vermins. I don't see any possible way she can do that with a 1-shot hunting rifle. And then the fact that these are tough, critical hits won't apply. I'm going to have to flee the mine. There's just no other alternative in this. So Lanny's going to flee the mine, and the mission has failed. It certainly didn't help by drawing that full moon card where beast enemies were +2 combat and +2 health. I mean, it was absolutely one of the worst cards we could have gotten. I had no way to stop the card. I had no other skills that I could use. So we're going to flee the mine. There is no penalty for failing the mission, as this was that introductory mission. However, there was a card that was drawn, a darkness card called End of the Line, and it says if the current mission is failed, every hero gains the wanted status as you're being hunted by the law, and that's going to remain, well, that card remained in play for the mission, but now both of us are going to be considered wanted. All right, I'm going to clear this, the tiles up, and then we're going to find out what our status is following this mission. Well, now it's time to find out the extent of Martin's injury. As he has been KO'd, we have to roll on the injury chart. It'll be a 2d6 roll. I'll bring up the injury chart on the screen. Okay, here is the roll. Rolled an 8, and that's crushed arm. Your arm has been bent and crushed a bit. It may even be broken. You are -1 combat. All right, well, that isn't an absolute game killer for him because he's primarily a ranged attack character. But we may have to try to get a visit to a doctor's office and have that repaired. All right, we'll take care of our post-mission recovery. We'll start with Martin. He's KO'd, so he's got 10 wounds, and he's got 4 corruption points. So, and he also was able to find 2 Darkstone. We're going to have to roll for that corruption now, and we'll see if he's going to get any further corruption from that. Okay, on a result of 1, 2, or 3, he's going to take a corruption point. We can use the willpower to defend against it. Okay, here is the roll. One of them is okay, one of them is not. So we're going to roll his willpower to see if he takes the corruption or not. Hopefully we'll get a 4 or greater. We didn't. We'll use the bear claw to do the re-roll. And that time we were okay, so he's going to stay with 4 corruption. Now, since he was KO'd, he gets to roll 2d6 to recover, and that's the amount of wounds or sanity damage that he'll be able to heal. He rolled 10, so that will heal him completely. His 10 wounds are gone, so he's just carrying the 4 corruption at this point. All right, then we'll move on with to Lanny. Okay, Lanny's got 5 wounds and 1 sanity damage, no corruption. So she's able to roll a d6. She was not KO'd, so she's able to roll a d6 for recovery. She rolled a 6, so that will fully recover her 5. I'll spend it as 5 wounds and 1 sanity damage, so she's recovered in that respect. And then now each character is able to recover 1 grit. So Martin and Lanny will get 1 grit. Now Lanny has an extra ability here where it says you start every adventure with 1 extra grit than normal. In this case, whenever grit is awarded, I'm going to rule it that she's able to get that extra grit along with it. So she's going to start out with 2 grit. And we'll place her with 2 grit. That was very disappointing. All right, we're going to go back to the campaign map, but we are going to make a notation that both characters now are going to be wanted. And I'm going to have to check to see how that's going to affect a law character. Martin has the keywords law and traveler, and Lanny has frontier. So I'm going to have to see how that wanted affects a law character. Well, I did a little research on what a wanted condition is, and each of the characters are going to receive a card called wanted. And it says that at the end of each day in town, roll a number of dice equal to your hero level. For each roll of a 6, you are recognized. Gain 10 XP and then choose either pay $50, bribing them to look the other way, or flee town to escape the law, ending your town stay. While you are wanted, you gain the keyword outlaw. So even though Martin has the keyword law, it's trumped out by that wanted charge. So the only way to get rid of that wanted condition is to visit the sheriff's office, and then paying a certain kind of a fine will get rid of that condition. All right, we will regroup now at the campaign map. Oh, incidentally, there was one other thing I discovered, and that was the fact that I actually could have canceled the Growing Dread card by each posse member spending 1 grit. So we could have canceled that Growing Dread card that gave the Hell Vermin +2 combat and +2 health, which I would have done that if I would have known that at that point. I wasn't aware of that rule. I kind of spotted that just on chance, just by looking through the rule book, and I spotted that it says that you're not helpless against the Growing Dread cards, that if the posse members all contribute a grit, you can cancel it. And I would have done that if that would have been the case. I don't know if that would have changed the outcome, but, well, live and learn. Well, we're back at the campaign map. The posse has fled the mine in Mount La Terra, so that's where they're at. I think I'm going to end the video here, and then we're going to regroup with an overland travel. And I believe the posse is going to try to head for Seraphin. It's a one movement cycle trip to get there. And then at least maybe we can sell our Darkstone and whatever else are the items we have. Maybe we can pay off those wanted conditions that we have. That's really going to be a problem for us, because every day that we stay in town, we're going to be rolling a die. In our case, one die, because we're level 1. And on a result of 6, we're going to be either paying bribing people or fleeing the town. So I'm definitely going to have to address those wanted conditions if possible. So, all right, well, thanks very much for joining me for this video, and I hope we can have some better success in the next episode. Thanks for joining me, and have a good evening. Good night.